Topic 1.4, problem number 4. We want to factor this polynomial, so we want to reverse the process of multiplication and division, see what it used to be. Now, because it leads with a negative, I know someone must have multiplied this by a negative, so we're going to remove that. And look for the greatest common factor, the GCF, which is going to be x squared. So someone must have multiplied this also by x squared as well as a negative. Then we look at all the denominators and look for the greatest common factor. Or least common denominator. We have 4, 2, 4, and 2. The least common denominator will be 4. So I know someone must have divided this by 4. So 3 things happened. They took a polynomial and they multiplied it by negative, an x squared, and a 4. So we're going to reverse that process by multiplying it or dividing it by negative, dividing it all by x squared, and multiplying by 4. So this right here will reverse each one of these and tell us what it used to be. Okay, so by negative this becomes positive, divide by x squared, this becomes x to the 4th, and when I multiply this by 4, I get 12 over 4, which is 3. So that used to be a 3x to the 4th before someone multiplied it by a negative, multiplied it by an x squared, and divided it by 4. Okay, dividing this by x squared gives us, let's see, x to the 3rd power. A positive divided by negative means it used to be negative. And 4 times the 1/2 gives us 2. Next, dividing this by x squared gives us x squared. And multiplying it by a negative and a 4 gives me negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. And finally, here, dividing x squared by x squared gives us 1, and that's a negative. And then multiplying it by 4, now 4, will give me 12 over 2, which is 6, so negative 6. So originally this problem was negative x squared over 4 times 3x4 minus 2x cubed minus x squared minus 6. Now we're going to factor once again. We're looking for greatest common factors, and there are no GCFs in this. So I'm going to try another method by taking the GCFs out in groups. So this group right here, the greatest common factor will be a 2x squared. So this used to be 2x squared times x minus 4. The greatest common factor for these two, in this group right here, will be 3. So this used to be a 3 times x minus 4. Now the greatest common factor of these two is the x minus 4s. We'll take those out. So this used to be x minus 4 multiplied with a 2x squared plus 3. And these two binomials is what this used to be before multiplication. Okay. Number 4. We want to factor this. Again, there's no greatest common factor in the entire problem, so we're going to take out the greatest common factors, or GCFs, out in groups. So this group right here, the GCF would be a 3x cubed. So this used to be 3x cubed times 3x squared, and this was a 4. The greatest common factor of these two, because it leads with a negative, will be negative 1. Negative 1 times a positive 3x squared times a positive 4. Now we have a greatest common factor of 3x squared plus 4. So let's take that out and multiply that times 3x cubed minus 1. Okay, and so this polynomial used to be the two binomials, 3x squared plus 4 times 3x cubed minus 1. Now we're going to factor number 4 and number 5. These are two binomials. The property I'm going to use for factoring this is the property that says if a binomial fits the difference of two cubes, you may factor this into a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay. This all can be simplified with a cube root, therefore it fits the idea that we can simplify it down to a and b. So the binomial for this simplifies down to 2. Put this into the into the cube root. This simplifies down to squared, minus this simplifies down to 3, and this down to a y. So this is our a and our b term, or our simplified terms. Then the rest of it will be a squared, which will be 2x squared times 2x squared, which is 4x to the 4th. Then positive a times b, which will be 2x squared times 3y. that's 6x squared y, and then b plus b squared, which will be 3y times 3y, 9y squared. And so this binomial factors into a binomial times a trinomial. This next one fits the property of the sum of two cubes, which is factored into a plus b times a squared minus a times b plus b squared. Okay, so we'll run all of these through a cube root and simplify. So that's going to give me x and 4. X was 4. Now, I'll take my simplified terms a and b, the x and 4, so this will be a squared. So x times x is x squared, then minus, and then a times b is x times 4, which is 4x, and then my plus, and then b squared is 4 times 4, which is 16.